this.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yo!
Do we have an echo?
I think I have selfish.
Happy Halloween, everybody. How's everybody doing today? Getting ready to switch over cameras here in a second. So you guys are going to have to just hang on. The main thing today, first off, happy Halloween. I hope you guys are not tuning in. I hope you're actually doing something productive, unlike myself, and you're actually out there trick-or-treating. But if you're not, and if you're being lame, just like me, well, help me out and tell me how's the broadcast, how's the echo, if there is one. I need to straighten some stuff out before tomorrow. Can't have another total collapse during a Bill Bragman interview. That just wouldn't be good. I am just now logging on to chat right now, so let's see. Probably gonna have very low attendance today. Specifically, what's up, Ronnie? Because of Halloween.
I don't know yet, dude, but this thing has already...
But you never know. Maybe there's more crazier people that aren't out there and about. And actually, sounds good. Perfect, man. Yeah, so what happened was, hang on. Alright, let's lower this down here real quick. I got a surprise for you guys. Let's see here. Let's lower this down. Alright. Well. You guys didn't think I was going to come on here and not at least dress up, right? You've been mistaken. Alright, let me, yeah, I'm not a Halloween Grinch. I do like Halloween, by the way. Unfortunately, I have a meeting at 7 o'clock. And, I can't be out there right now. My wife's out there with my son. And they're going to be out there for a good while. So, I'm not out trick-or-treating today like some of you guys, dude. Actually, no. Well, first off, if you're watching this and you're trick-or-treating, you've got some major problems. But good problems. Like, I'm all for it, dude. Trick-or-treat, watch your kids, watch a little NLF live. That's what's up. But if you're like me and you're a busy guy and you got things to do, I have a meeting today here at about 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. So I'm not able to go out there with my son, which is a little upset because I do like Halloween. But it's okay. Like, we'll get through it. All of us. We'll all get through it. So I'm here in spirit. Got a little cat in the hat action. And hopefully it's one of those days where it's like what? Oh, Renaissance. Yeah. What's up, Slick? Yeah, dude. If for those of you guys who are here in Texas, if you guys have never experienced the Renaissance Festival, you guys are seriously missing out. Like, I'm not one of those guys to like dress up and get crazy and be medieval, but I'm telling you right now, that's probably one of the coolest things that I've ever gone to, like, as an adult. Had I known about that as a child, it would have been more epic than Halloween, because like everybody is just locked in the Renaissance Festival. And I felt so bad because when we went there, I felt like I was wearing like a Dollar General Halloween costume in comparison to everybody else around me. And they were like, everybody was like legit. Like, I mean, everything was like 100% leather, made out of, just the craziest materials. They had like, if any of you guys are big gamers and if you've ever played those like old school, not old school, but like those old time games, like the big one is World of Warcraft. If you guys have ever played any of that stuff or know anybody who's played it, it's like walking into a video game, dude. Everybody is tuned in. They don't even talk to you normal. Like, they probably said every time I went up to get some food, they would be like, yes, my lord. You know, it's like, that's what I'm talking about. You know, you can call me yes, my lord 100 times, dude, and I'm going to always have a smile on my face. So, you know, that was pretty crazy, dude. I would definitely do that again. I'm going to make that a tradition for sure, to go out there and experience that Renaissance Festival out there. And it's like North Houston. I think it's like Mission Houston. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but it's like we're in the Woodlands area. So if you guys need something to do pre or after Halloween, pre-Halloween, mid-October, or really for October in general, take your kids to that. Just don't go after dark. Like once the sun fall, or the moon comes up, sun falls, whatever. Like just get out of there, because it turns into like an adult thing at night. And I don't know what happens, but I heard that there's some pretty adult. It's just adult content, and you don't want your kids to be around that. So yeah. Oh, anyways, so my name's Cat in the Hat. Chris is not going to be with you guys today. Tomorrow he will be with y'all. Ram and Chris will be, I'm just kidding. So, obviously, right? So tomorrow, hopefully you guys come in. I wanted to do a quick little test. I say quick, but you know I'm always going to go and conversate with you guys, so we'll see how this goes. But, tomorrow, Bill Bragman, it's been confirmed, will be here. Ask your questions. It's going to be a cool interview, dude. You know, and for us to bring on the president of Yak Gear on NLF Live is a cool thing, dude. Not every day you get to talk with a guy like that. So, fortunately, Bill is just one of those guys. You know, he's one of those presidents of a company that will just come out and talk. You know, he's been a kayak angler for many years, and now he is pretty much the #1 accessory company in the world as far as kayak fishing goes. And it's gonna be cool, man, to just get to know him a little bit. I mean, I know him, but I know you guys don't. So we're gonna talk to him about all kinds of stuff, man. How he started the company, who he was before, who he is now, where is the future of kayak fishing from his perspective? Where is it going? And what are their goals? Now, most of you guys may or may not already know, I do, I'm an ambassador for them, and they do support and sponsor Next Level Fishing TV in addition to being an ambassador and all that. So I know a lot, as far as that goes, but I just kind of wanted to extend that invitation to everybody else, the audience, because not everybody gets to see that, man. There's like maybe 30 active ambassadors across the world for Yak Gear. There's not very many, and it's cool to open up those doors and let you guys kind of see that side of things, and you guys, we might get some firsthand information on what's the next best thing that's coming out for Yak Gear. Yak Gear is a very fast moving company. They will bring on products, see how they go. They don't like them. If we don't like them, boom, then they'll move on to the next thing. So they're very fast moving, they're fast growing, and they're #1 for a reason. You guys probably have their stuff on your kayak and you don't even know it. That's how I was, and I'll tell you my story since we're having a conversation here. Thanks, Hooked RR. I appreciate it, man. This hat was given to me by the Cat in the Hat. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. Here's something we can sort of dive into. Here's a question that a lot of guys have, and I get asked this a lot, and I never have time to answer it, so I'm going to do it right now. There's this thing, and some people get very annoyed by it, and rightfully so. I think there's a little bit of a problem in the kayak industry when it comes down to your pro staffs. There's just so many, right? And they can sort of flood social media and maybe talk a little too much, maybe have a little not enough credibility to maybe weigh in on something. And you got, that's something that we're always going to be, I'm always going to be straight up with you guys. Like, we're not going to sugarcoat anything. There's obviously little issues and little knick-knack things that we just don't like about the kayak fishing community. So we'll put it all out here, dude. This is why it's NLF Live. And so it's an issue, right? You know, there's guys that you may have on your feed that just, maybe they annoy you, you know, because they're just always talking about this, always talking about that. And it's just like, all right, dude, enough's enough, you know. So I'm going to tell you how I went about and how I got into the industry of what this is in regards to, no, I take this back. I'm going to tell you guys how I did it as far as getting through the industry and becoming an ambassador and then moving up through, I don't want to say ranks, but moving towards publications and representing things, which I think, I mean, is the right way. There's definitely a wrong way to how, you know, going about it. First and foremost, you know, you don't want to just sit there and sound like a salesman. Nobody wants to hear that, dude. I mean, every now and then it's cool, whatever. If you got something to say, great. But the bottom line, man, is all of us, number one, enjoy fishing. And number two, I don't know, what was I going to say for number two? Oh, yeah. We just don't want to hear that. Like, we just want to go out there, catch fish, and see people catch fish. I don't know about you guys, but that's, you know, that's what I like to do. That's what I like to look at. If I'm your friend on Facebook, I want to see you succeed, dude. I want to see you catch a great fish. And if you're not catching a great fish, I'd love to see pictures of what you went through, you know. It's not always about catching fish. Sometimes it's about falling flat on your face, man. And you can take a wonderful picture to represent that. It doesn't have to be like something that's, it just doesn't always have to be about a product, right? And so circling back to what we're talking about is, I think that there's an issue there with pro staffing, is that there's so much to be said other than just a product. So here's what I do. Here's what I did. First off, I never, if you guys are young right now, or maybe not young, maybe you're just coming into the whole game a little late, and you want to become a part of this movement as far as an ambassador. You know, I mean, there's a lot of guys that want to be with Yak Gear. You know, it's one of the best, top-notch companies in our industry, kayak fishing. There's hundreds of people that want to join that, right? And you know, there's two ways you can go about it, dude. You can prove yourself, or you can be annoying, and not to come off and sound like, you know, like I'm tooting my own horn, but there are guys that go out there and try and just push themselves on these companies. What do I got to do to do? You know, what do I got to do? Hey, is there room for this? Where can I go to sign up an application? This is my resume. This is that. Okay, so my advice to anybody trying to go that direction is, dude, first off, forget about that whole thing. The way that I went about it was, I never wanted to approach a company. I approached one company, and that was Line Cutters. That was the only company that I ever approached. Everything, and it's been a wonderful experience and ride. I was with them, and the reason I approached them, man, is because that little ring saved my life, dude. Which maybe I'll tell that story. That's for another day. But besides that, I always told myself, dude, you know what? I don't want to. I saw firsthand people being annoying to these representatives and these companies, especially when they go out to shows and they're like, man, dude, I'm not trying to take applications and interview for a pro staff. I'm just, you know, they're out there to show a product, right? And so there was like about a good 2 years where a lot of guys were doing it, and it's both locally and more globally, like on a much bigger stage, depending on the size of the show. And so I was always, the way I approached it was, you know what, dude, if a company wants to come at me and wants me to represent them, then I need to make myself valued without me having to go out and reach these companies. You know, I wanted my work to be, and this is just the way I did it. You know, I'm not saying this is the way to do it or the way you got to, but the way I did it, man, is I went out there, dude, and I just grinded it out. I didn't say what I was going to do. I didn't say, well, I'm going to go out there and try and catch a bigger fish than this guy, or I'm going to try and catch a trophy fish, or I'm going to try and catch a sailfish, because like that was really skill, right? Which it wasn't, by the way. Not out here in Texas. That was just a matter of grinding and just being in the right spot. Now the fighting and my rigging, yeah, okay, there's some technique as far as that and landing it appropriately, but I'd mentally been preparing for that for like about a good 2, if not 3 years in Florida. So, but the point is that those moments you get as an angler whenever you make a wave in a community, in the kayak fishing community, where people are like, wow, like that's an impressive fish, or that's an impressive story, or you're going to try and do what? You know, those are things, dude, that these companies go after. It's not about the fish. It's not about how you look or what you're doing. They're going to look at your work, man, you know. And when you get recruited without asking, your experience and what you are going to get in return as an ambassador is going to be tenfold than it would be if you were just to go over there and ask for an application. I can tell you that, not firsthand because I've only applied for one, but I've seen it amongst the ranks from within. So, yeah, just a little something to kind of marinate if you guys are out there and want, because I get buddies all the time that ask, you know, how did you get with this guy? How did you get with McCain? How did you get with line cutters or Yagir? And some of these guys don't even believe it. The simple truth is I didn't, you know, that I just fish because, number one, I love it. It's my passion. And everything else is out in the open, left for translation. If they want to invite me, I'll consider it, you know what I mean? But I'm not going to I'm going to consider it, you know, I mean, and it's not to be conceited. It's not to be like a dude who has a chip on his shoulder. It's just being an ambassador. When you flood yourself with companies, dude, like that's a nightmare, man. You know, you got to meet a certain amount of representation. If you're with like 12, 20 different companies, that's opposed to a week, or I mean, depending on the company, you know, that's a lot of product, dude, that you got to represent. And now you're just going to be turning into an annoying person on Facebook who's just talking about stuff that he probably hasn't had the time to spend with that particular gear. You know, I used Matrix Shad for a whole year and a half, dude, before I really ever talked about it. And I really never talked about it. All I did was I put some quality fish on there and just, it was there. And that's it. You leave it at that. And then people conversate, hey, well, what is that? And then that's when you kick in. Never go out there and try and sound like a salesman, man. There are ways you can indirectly represent a product without trying to sound like a salesman. So that's just my 2 cents, man. It is an issue. There is a lot of people out there that are just doing it wrong, man. And it's annoying, not to me, I don't care, but it's annoying to a lot of people. And that's a little behind the scenes there of what these people are thinking and what they won't tell you probably to your face, but what they're thinking behind a closed chat or a closed conversation. So take it for what it's worth. How's everybody doing? Now that my rant is over. And the other thing, man, is you know, just have fun with it, dude. This is not my full-time job. But I do have a lot of time for fishing. If anybody's wondering what I do for my full-time job, I'm into management, dude. I manage a condominium, and I just got a new job, which I won't discuss right now. Yeah. So I have 2 jobs. And they're both very flexible. So some of you guys are like, man, how do you manage to fish and do all these videos and work? Well, it's because I have a very flexible schedule. So that's how it's been. So have fun with it, dude. There's a lot of people these days that are just so upset. You know, I mean, I'm getting burned out, this and that. And you try something else. Well, maybe you're doing it for the wrong reasons, dude, because I could sit here and I could do this with 10 subscribers. You know, that's how much I enjoy it. Everybody's just going to start unsubscribing now. Anyway, so if you guys are out there trick-or-treating, I mean, I'll answer the door, but you guys got to find me. Got some good candies, dude. Do I have them around here? No, I don't have them around here. Noe. About the Outback. From what times to what times did you speak about the Outback on? Man, you know, I'm so tempted to take that episode down, Noe, because it sounded horrible. So what it was the cast before, we had some technical difficulties with our Bill Bragman interview, which is why we postponed it. And I'm just going to catch you up on what happened. and it's because of this mic right here. And whenever we disconnected, everything was great. We came back on air. We finished it. I don't think we had an echo, but there was a problem. This mic, there's a mode that to enable hear what I hear or something like that. So it was reverbing everything. That's what had happened yesterday. So how about let's talk about it now. What do you want to know about the Outback? And you can mark this time if you're busy. It is not any meth candy. Nah, no meth candy here, Mark. This is just the good stuff, dude. All from Mexico. I'm just kidding. That was a bad joke. I've talked a lot about the Outback because a lot of people have questions about it. Now, when I talk about the Outback, I'm not, just keep in mind, like, I'm not talking about it in the sense that I've been on it, because I haven't. I've just been sort of giving you guys my thoughts on the visual side of it and what I've seen my friends sort of go through on it and some of the information that they've relayed. I think what we sort of talked about was that last episode, that front hatch has some issues. Well, most of the front hatches on Hobies have issues with taking on water, and it hasn't changed on the new Outback. We sort of discussed, just to recap it real quick, we just discussed that it has a different design, you know, like the Outback, the previous version of it. It has, you know, the sidewalls are a little bit chunkier, beefier, and so whenever you're cruising, it's bouncing water out more, and it still would take water, especially if you punch through some pretty gnarly waves and surf if you're going offshore. And so what they did with this new design on the 2019, if you look at it from sort of like a sideways profile view, it's a lot sleeker. So that nose is going to tend to submarine through waves. It's not going to go up them. It's going to act a lot like the Compass, which I like. Some people don't like that. I like it, which we discussed on a previous live cast, I think a couple episodes ago, as to why I like submarining through a wave versus going over it. And so essentially, because it's submarining and it's a little bit more water dynamic, if that makes any sense, in regards to how it punches through stuff, it's taking more water on the front because of that design. And because Hobie hasn't really fixed the issue with the front hatch taking on water, that new 2019 Outback is taking a lot of waters, dude. And there's a guy out there, his YouTube channel, he's called MDLR Fishing. Go and check this video out. It's a good video, man. He basically takes it out for the first time offshore, and the dude is bilge pumping 3 or 4 times on that thing, dude. So when you watch that video, you're gonna be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't take this, or maybe I should do something to help that hatch out. Now, what I've seen a lot of guys, Mike Morales, good friend of mine from Fin Factory, he's a guide. Him and his wife Sandra, great people, man. What I've seen them do, I've done a couple of seminars with them for Heroes on the Water, and when they open up their front hatch, and Mike will tell you, dude, he's straight up, you know, he'll actually buy if you go to like AutoZone or Walmart, and you can get those washers that you put around your car, like the weather stripping for a vehicle. You can go to AutoZone or Walmart and get those, and when you flip them, you know, they grab onto the sleeve, the inside. They don't really clip in, but they kind of like pop in, and they hold, so that whenever you're closing your door and it's raining, water doesn't go. Okay, well, you can use that same concept and wrap it around your hatch in the front of your Hobie, and then bungee it down, and it helps. I'm not saying that it's going to keep it completely all the water out, but it will help, I think, especially with splashing and minor thrashing. Now, if you're taking a full-on, you know, 5-footer and you're punching through that, the waves and the water pressure coming in is probably going to elevate that front hatch. So always carry a bilge pump with you, a manual bilge pump, something that you can just, you know, that new 2019 Outback has a wonderful hatch right in the middle, and you can sit there and just start bilge pumping out. That probably doesn't look right on camera, sorry. You can bilge pump water out, and you'll be good to go, dude. You're not going to get like an excessive rush of water. It's going to build over a period of time. So Sorry, Yak Gear, did I miss him on your podcast? Yeah. No, Mark, we had some issues, dude, so we postponed it. Tomorrow, Bill Bragman, the president of Yak Gear, is going to be here with us. And that's him right there on the bottom, right here of the screen. I just got this new microphone holder so that I don't have to like grab and do this, and I can just comfortably move it wherever I need, and I can be comfortable with you guys. So the thing is that I'm not like used to this thing being right here, and my screen of what I watch and see you guys is right here, and then my display screen for like videos and stuff is over here. So it's like I'm just kind of getting used to this thing being in my way. Probably gonna have to fix a few things here. So yeah, tomorrow, Mark, he will be here. Yak Monkey, yeah, that's a good idea right there. The neoprene gasket, few bucks, mod it, perfect. About 7 o'clock, Mark, is when we'll start. I came on today just to chit chat a little bit with you guys. Tomorrow, 7 p.m. we will begin, and we'll probably have Bill in as soon as about 7:12. I've been going through some echoing issues with this setup, and we're kind of still building it. We just got this thing right here, this arm. We just got some lighting, so you guys can see my pimples and stuff a lot clearer, because that's what you guys have been wanting. And yeah, it should be fun. Okay, hang on, Mark. What did you say here? I'm reading up here. Oh, and it's Yak Gear, by the way, not Yak Attack. Just, two different guys there. Would you take it offshore in Florida, Atlantic side? Man, dude, I would not take... No, absolutely not. I wouldn't take that, no. Unless I played around with it enough to where I could solve that front hatch, taking very minimal water. I don't mind a little water going in there. But not as much as that dude did whenever he went to Galveston. And those conditions really weren't bad. It freaked him out a little bit, which, that's going to happen, especially if it's your first time out. You're gonna freak. I mean, I'm not gonna say you're gonna freak out, but what you see usually, like if a well-seasoned offshore angler goes and says, "Yeah, man, we got some pretty good conditions." Well, pretty good conditions for somebody who's just going into it, it's probably gonna be like, this was a little bit more than what I expected, and that's just normal. That's your first experience out there. I think most anglers, their first experience going offshore, they're gonna not really expect a bay setting, like just a small chop, but it's just different, dude, when you go out there and you have deep water and you have swells moving around and you have rogue waves, just the conditions, the environment, everything's just different, man. It's different, dude. You don't hear the city, you don't hear anything, you just hear like dead silence, and you hear the hole slapping, and you're looking down, clear water, and you just see all kinds of life moving. I mean, I don't think in his situation that's what it was, because I think they were out in Galveston, which it's not like down here, completely different offshore. So yeah, to answer your question, Mark, yeah, I would not. I don't trust, dude, this is just me, man, but I don't trust any. I don't care if it's a Viking, an Ocean. I have to really put some time on that kayak before I really trust it. Doesn't matter how many models that they've made or how well they say that they are. I've had too many instances where I've had two of the identical kayaks, and one of them takes in water and the other one doesn't, because of the way that they drilled in a flush mount. So you got to be careful, man, when it comes down to offshore, because the thing is, you go out there, dude, and you're a mile out, like, you don't have room for air, especially if you're going by yourself, which is sort of a big no-no. But Hook RR, I'm not really going to do podcasts. What I'm trying to do I don't even know if this is a thing, but I'm trying to do live cast. I want to do everything live, dude. I don't really want to get into, because I edit a lot already. Like, if you guys were to see how everything looked from an outside perspective, I've got monitors everywhere. I've got screens. I've got all kinds of stuff, dude. So I don't want to edit a podcast, because I already edit fishing videos, and that's just way too much work, dude. I'd rather make and develop this setup. So basically, just to, you know, as every week you guys are probably going to see something new. This wall is going to disappear. We're going to have the little sound blockers and stuff. This camera that you guys are watching on is going to change into a DSLR. So the quality to which you see us is going to be like really good, dude. In the near future, like very near future. Because this camera right here, this camera that you're looking at us on is basically probably one of the best webcams, a 1080p webcam. But there's nothing that's going to beat a DSLR. So I'm going to get a capture card, get all this stuff, you know, rigged up. This is going to be a secondary camera. I've got a chair there for special guests. So our interviews, this is basically going to be all interview based, but you know, we're still getting a feel for it, so there's times like this where I'll come on and just chit-chat with you guys. But until we get it all pro'd up, this is what it is. Not the Pro Angler. Now the Pro Angler is a better offshore kayak if you wanted to troll offshore in Florida, Texas. Wait, what are you asking? Hang on. What did you ask? You know, this is serious when I have to lift up my glasses and read this. I mean, I guess you're asking if it is. The Pro Angler, I want to put these glasses right here, but I can't. So the Pro Angler has had some issues, man. It's a good kayak for offshore, but it takes on water, man. Here's the thing, dude, is when you flip a Pro Angler, like, good luck trying to get that thing back over, dude. If any of you guys are followers of the Extreme Kayak Fishing series, a couple of those guys had to get rescued. And I'm talking about, you know, good, respectable guys who have strength, not somebody who doesn't know how to self-rescue. Well, those guys probably could have self-rescued had they been in an Outback or a Compass or a Revo or a traditional paddle kayak. But that Outback, that Pro Angler, it's a boat, bro. You know, it's a boat. It's very stable, but that doesn't mean it's impossible to flip. So I've seen it happen. I've seen guys ignore on a gnarly condition day, and that hatch is just, it's thrashing and the water is just slowly filling up the hole. And all of a sudden, dude, they're like, you know, they're rocking, and it's because water's in there. And all of a sudden, that kayak is in the water, and by that point, there's no returning unless you get a boat to haul you out. If you flip an Outback, for those of you guys who know Ram, one of our anglers, aka Spooled _outdoors, or is it outdoor? Can't believe Spooled _outdoors. He used to be on a Pro Angler, dude, a Pro Angler 12. And Ram is strong, dude, man. I've never seen him not be able to flip back his Pro Angler from any turtling or any flipping in any situation out there. So that should give you just an idea. Once you flip a Pro Angler, it's going to be tough, bro, to flip that back over. Because when you flip it over, it almost, those hatches are kind of like suction cups, dude. They'll suck in water. So whenever you apply pressure on top of or underneath the hole, which is now flipped upside down, every time you press down, you're pushing out water through the, through the hole. And then it's when you let go or when you get off of it, because I see a lot of guys, they'll get on their Pro Anglers and just sort of like sit there and wait for help. Well, it's sucking in water. Every time you go up and down on that thing, you're bringing in more and more water. Taking the kids trick-or-treating. Gotta go. Thanks. Hey, Noe. All right, brother. Can you show us a setup tour? I don't know. Let me see. Make sure I don't have any loose underwear anywhere. What if I were to tell you that I'm just wearing this shirt and there's nothing else underneath? No, I'm just kidding. Not that crazy. I will. Let me, how do I show you guys? I need to, once I get this DSLR, I'll give you guys a tour because I've got too many wires and then I've got to move and then, yeah, we'll wait on that. But I will. We'll put that in the books for you. How's y'all's trick-or-treating going, man? I've got another 10 minutes with you guys, and then I have to go to a meeting. So, Yasin. You like that one, Yasin? Let me see if I missed any questions that you guys had. Get those questions ready, dude, for tomorrow, man. It's going to be a fun one. Oh, let me update this. Okay, this is season 1. This is actually, technically would be episode 9. What did we talk about today? Talked a little bit about pro staff. What do you guys want to name this episode? Did one of my mustache hairs just get stuck on this? That was weird. In the cool, okay, so Mark has asked another question. Question for you. Question mark, question mark. In the colder months, what do you use for leggings for kayaking? A wetsuit, dry suit, what do you prefer? So that's sort of like a living and breathing process. And what I mean by that is it's always changing for me. Right now, I do have those neoprene NRS socks. I wear those, but I've never been a big, like, I've just always kind of roughed it out, dude. And I probably shouldn't because that's just not good advertisement. So this year, I have some waders, and I'm going to be layering underneath them. Now, you can wear waders in kayak, and there's a safe way and a wrong way to use those. And a lot of people make the mistake of not really tightening those things up the right way. A few episodes ago, I had discussed a couple of my buddies. One of them for sure I knew. The other one, it was kind of an acquaintance. She can't even talk today. Well, they're no longer here, man. One of these guys had died. Maybe for some of you guys might know him. He lived here in Corpus. It would be, I think, a month from now, maybe 2 months. It was cold, dude. He had his waders on, right? And they were right there at the Packery Channel. And they just, it was rough, man. The current was rough. They're on a boat. They got hit by a funky wave, and it knocked them off the front of the boat. Well, he was wearing his waders to keep cool, but he didn't have them wrapped up. He layered properly. Everything was good, dude. Did everything the right way. But then his waders turned into a drift sock. So that current basically grabbed everything and drug him down. The dude ended up drowning. And it was very sad, very unfortunate event. So what I use, to answer your question, will be layers, which I'm going to get into. I'm almost done with this video. It's a video about layering up. It's a video about winter fishing and basically what I use and how I use my waders. So that's sort of where I'm going to start off at. Now, that may change next year. Like I said, I've never really been a big guy on sort of layering up and appropriately, I should say. Do I know how to layer up? Absolutely, I do. But I've just never really practiced it the way I should. Part of the reason is because we have such a funky winter here in Corpus, and sometimes I end up just being out there when it's like 60 degrees in December, and it's not that bad. Now, can that kill you? Yeah, absolutely, it's enough. But I just never have put myself in very extreme cold water situations. But this year I am, and I'm telling you why. Because for one reason, we're going heavily for a nice trout, dude. I'm tired of. I need to break my trout curse. There's 2 curses that I have in Corpus, and that's a cobia curse, and I have a trout curse. And the cobia curse continues, but but the trout curse is going to end tomorrow. No, I'm just kidding. Probably, I don't know. Now I said that, I don't have any wood to knock on. I don't think this is, no, this is not wood. It's plywood. So anyway, I know where these big trout are at. I know how to get them. The stars have to align, and I'm going to be grinding it out because that's what it's going to take until I can understand where I'm fishing a little bit better from the trout perspective. So, that should be a fun episode, dude. Should be a fun episode. So I'll get into all that, Mark. I was in Aransas Pass when that happened. 25-mile-an-hour wind came in quick. Yeah, Hook. That story may sound familiar, man. And you know what, dude? That story was so sad, dude. So sad, dude, because they found this dude. They didn't even find him floating. They had divers going down in there, and there's some sort of like, now I don't know how true this is, but this is just what I heard. But there's some sort of structure down there on the Packery Channel in between Causeway and Red Dot Pier, and I don't know if it's like a telephone pole or something, but apparently he was pinned down there, dude. So 4 years ago, yeah, it was sad. I mean, that's just what I heard. I don't know if that's how true that is about him being pinned under the water, but you know, it sucks to hear things like that. That guy was a kayak angler. He wasn't on a kayak that day, so yeah, man, stuff like that happens a lot more than what you guys think. The new statistic, there are numbers out now on kayak fishing and its relation to death, to dying. Look this up. So I'm working on getting these numbers, and I'll show you guys in print. But kayak fishing across all of water sports, kayak fishing attributes to 40% of all deaths having to do with deaths happening in water. So when you say water sports, you got to understand that you're talking about, and I'm not going to say kayak fishing, I'm just going to say kayaking. It attributes to 40% of all water sports deaths. So, you're talking about fishing on a boat in general, wave runners, you're also including what else is outside of kayaking, like wakeboarding, what else? I don't know. There's all kinds of water sports out there. Surfing. That's a hard number, dude. That's a wake-up call. Those numbers, whoever put that together this year, I don't know where it's coming out of, but whoever did that, like, kudos to those guys, because we've been looking and wanting those numbers for years. For years. I can tell you right now, dude, 3 years ago, kayakers that were dying out there were a couple kids that passed away that went out of the Port A channel. These dudes were high and drunk, and they died of hypothermia, and nobody talked about those kids. The only way I found out about these two kids that did that was through the guides, or the local guides, and the first one that I heard that story out of was Hector Rios from Coastal Bend Kayak. He's the first one that told me that, and I was like, dude, how is nobody talking about this? And then we had a couple of other people get rescued. I think it was last year. They were testing out a prototype offshore vessel that had like these big wheels. And dude, like, if those guys didn't take a VHF, I don't even know how they got help, or if somebody randomly reported them, but like, that's another case of just stupidity, man. Like, you just got to be careful. If you're going to try out something new like that, don't go offshore, dude. Do it in the flats. It's crazy, man. ACA might have those numbers. Contact Patty if you can get them. Yeah, it's an inside joke right there. I know exactly where you're coming from, Yak. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, so, all right, guys. Well, I'm already running late, man. Tune in tomorrow. Just checking. Thanks for hanging out and talking kayak fishing. And, again, like, subscribe, share if you enjoy everything, man. We're building this up into something cool, and I'm going to integrate. Dude, we're going to be doing this even live on the water too. I just got to figure a few things out. I do IT as one of my jobs, so I'm somewhat computer savvy. I know more or less how all that stuff needs to come together. And we'll try something a little different that most people have. Well, that I haven't seen it. I've seen people go live on Facebook and be on the kayak, but I haven't seen them go live the way I'm trying to do it. So hopefully I can bring something kind of cool to you guys. I don't think the way I want to do it next year, I don't think it's ever been done before. But the thing that sucks about that is it's got to be done on a clear day. And if it's not, and if I make a mistake, I'm liable to lose probably about a good $3,000 worth of electronics. So, I don't know. We'll toy around with it. But, all right, guys. Well, y'all have a wonderful Halloween. I'm wasting 45 minutes of your time, but hopefully you got something from it. Happy Halloween. And we'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. Bill Bragman is our guest. And it will be me and Ram Garcia once again. Laters. 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 No, I'm just kidding. There's no reverb there. Hang on. All right, here we go. Later, guys.